Do you think a civil nuclear agreement between Saudi Arabia and US still possible?
It's more difficult now after the troubles in the Eastern Mediterranean. However, the United States and Saudi Arabia have been talking about this for decades. And it would be to our benefit to at least make small moves toward developing education to begin with in Saudi Arabia. Bring some good Saudi students over here to learn about nuclear power and to understand the proliferation issues. But one of the assumptions that will be required if Saudi Arabia is going to share nuclear technology with the United States is that they sign a 1, 2, 3 agreement, much like what the UAE did.
And they don't
So
want.
far, no, they don't want to do that so they can sign an agreement with the Chinese and the Russians, who are actually dominating the export of nuclear power plants, and their power plants are not as safe or have much higher proliferation risks. And what happens when that happens, this is something a lot of people don't think about it. When a country exports nuclear power plants to another country, they're there for 80 to 100 years, helping out on other issues. They will have leverage in that country on other issues. Do you want 80 to 100 years of Chinese and Russian pressure because they're building nuclear power plants? Because that is what you will get. Are you ready for that?
Some people say that the agreement or the Section 123 is no longer valid. I mean, I that's what Elliot Abrams said to me this year in an interview. Uh, he was talking about if Iran now is enriching, so why, prohibiting or not allowing other countries that are friends of the US?
Well, there needs to be some way of controlling enrichment. Uh, Iran is a totally different story from Saudi Arabia. The country that controls uranium enrichment by about 52% is Russia. And China has a big pile of it too. We should be worried about that and that dominating the nuclear industry for the next few years. The United States has banned the import of Russian uranium and Russian enriched uranium as of August of this year. I don't know why it took them so long, but there's also a waiver because it's going to take a lot of US companies a long time to adjust their supply chains to be away from Russia. We're going to have to build more enrichment facilities here. I think the question most Americans have and most politicians have here about allowing Saudi Arabia to have nuclear power is what are they going to do with the enriched uranium? When you produce electricity in a nuclear power plant, there's proliferation risk in the fissile material that is in the waste. What are they going to do with that? Well, that worry. And politicians worry about elections. They don't worry about big issues like national security. Please, they don't do that. They're looking for the next election. And the last thing they need is for someone in a company to send them an email or get on the TV and say, you've just handed over a proliferation risk to so and so country.